Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every person's life when they must decide, will I live as a shadow of my potential, or will I rise with such force of mind that the world itself cannot ignore me? The strongest minds do not appear overnight. They are forged, shaped by clarity, discipline, and relentless belief. If you want to build a mind so strong it terrifies people, begin with this: decide what you want. Not vaguely, not someday. Decide now, with precision. Define your purpose so clearly that it echoes in your every thought, your every action. People who drift through life never frighten anyone. They simply follow the current. But the individual with a definite aim becomes a force, and that force commands attention. The second step is to master yourself. You cannot command the respect of others until you have dominion over your own mind. Anger, fear, doubt. These are the chains that hold most people captive. Break them. Train yourself to respond, not react. When others lose their composure, your calm becomes power. When others fall into fear, your courage becomes contagious. The one who controls emotion controls energy, and energy is influence. Now, no fortress is built in a day, and the mind is no different. Discipline is the mortar. Feed your mind every day with knowledge that elevates you. Read with intention, speak with purpose, think deliberately. Visualize the future you want until it becomes as real to your subconscious as your current reality. This is not fantasy. It is blueprinting. And those who learn to see the invisible inevitably create the impossible. Yet none of this matters if you lack belief. You must believe in yourself with such intensity, such conviction, that even the world's resistance begins to question itself. When you walk into a room, your certainty should speak before your mouth does. People are drawn to belief, not because they understand it, but because they crave it. The truly strong mind does not beg for validation. It emits power from within. And because power is influence, guard it. Do not allow mediocrity to poison your environment. Who you spend time with is who you become. Surround yourself with minds that challenge you, expand you, inspire you. You cannot soar while tethered to the weak-willed. Protect your space like a sacred ground, because it is. Finally, the strongest minds are not those who avoid failure. They are the ones who refuse to stop. When the world says no, they move forward. When life says quit, they tighten their grip. Persistence is more than effort. It is a declaration of intent that refuses to die. And when people see that you cannot be moved, cannot be broken, cannot be stopped, they fear you, not because you harm them, but because you remind them of what they could have been if they had your will. Build a mind so strong it terrifies people, not with noise, not with ego, but with undeniable presence. Let your life speak louder than your words, and your vision burn brighter than your obstacles. The world bends to those who will not yield. And you, yes you, have that power. The question is, will you claim it? A mind of terrifying strength begins with one thing: clarity. Not a vague hope, not a passing wish, but an all-consuming, laser-focused purpose. The world is full of people drifting, chasing what's popular, what's easy, or what someone else told them to want. They change directions with the wind. And because they have no anchor, no true direction, they never build momentum. But the few, the rare few, who decide exactly what they want and why they want it, become unstoppable. The universe makes way for those who know where they are going. When you have definiteness of purpose, your thoughts stop wandering. Your energy stops leaking. Your actions begin aligning. Every step you take becomes a deliberate move toward your goal. You stop entertaining distractions. You stop doubting your ability to get there, because the clarity of your vision becomes your internal compass. People may not understand you. They might question your choices, your obsession, your drive. But they cannot shake you, because you are rooted in something deeper than approval. You are rooted in purpose. This level of clarity has a frequency. It radiates confidence. It draws in opportunities. It commands respect not through force, but through certainty. People around you begin to notice there's something different about you. You walk with intention. You speak with conviction. You don't flinch in the face of uncertainty because you already decided how this story ends. That kind of mental focus is rare, and that's why it's powerful. Definiteness of purpose is not just knowing what you want. It's becoming it. It's waking up every day with that image burned into your mind and shaping every thought, decision, and habit to serve that end. You don't wait for the perfect moment. You move with what you have, where you are, and you build your vision brick by brick, day by day. There is no backup plan. There is only forward, only up, only through. When others hesitate, you act. When they're confused, you're certain. And in a world full of noise, your clarity becomes a kind of quiet power, almost unsettling to those who live without it. That's why it terrifies people, because it forces them to confront the truth. They could have it too, if they were willing to commit. So decide. Fully. Absolutely. Burn the bridges of doubt, and walk toward your purpose with the kind of mind that doesn't wonder if. It only asks when. Mastery over emotion is one of the rarest and most powerful achievements a human being can attain. It's the difference between being driven by chaos or being the calm within it. Most people are prisoners of their emotions. They lash out when angry, freeze when afraid, doubt themselves when challenged. Their moods run their lives, and because of that, they are easy to manipulate, easy to distract, and easy to defeat. But the one who learns to master their emotions becomes untouchable, not cold, not numb, but centered, grounded, focused, powerful. This mastery does not mean you feel nothing. It means you feel fully, yet respond with wisdom. It means when fear rises, you don't retreat, you examine it, you face it, you study its source. You refuse to let it dictate your choices. It means when anger stirs, you don't explode. You use that energy as fuel, not fire. The strong mind sees emotion as information, not instruction. You listen to it, but you do not obey it blindly. Most people believe reacting emotionally is strength. It's not. Anyone can react. That takes no skill, no discipline. True strength is found in restraint, in choosing your response when your instincts scream for reaction. That's what terrifies people, when they try to provoke you and you stay calm, when they try to shake you and you remain composed, when the world is falling apart and you're still thinking clearly. That kind of control is rare, and people instinctively respect it, even fear it. To master your emotions is to create a kind of internal freedom. You are no longer a puppet on the strings of circumstance. You no longer need validation to feel worthy. You no longer seek revenge to feel powerful. You own your state of mind no matter what the external world throws at you. This is how leaders are born, not by dominating others, but by first mastering themselves. And make no mistake, emotional control is not a talent, it is a discipline. It is trained daily. You build it by observing yourself in moments of stress. You build it by catching the emotional wave before it crashes into your decisions. You build it by sitting with discomfort instead of running from it. The stronger your emotional intelligence, the sharper your mind becomes. Clarity emerges, confidence rises, and influence follows. People sense this in you. They might not be able to explain it, but they feel it. Your presence becomes magnetic, not because you are loud, but because you are still. You become a mirror, and when people look at you, they see what they are not. That's what unsettles them. That's what inspires them. That's what makes them watch you in silence, wondering how you remain so unshaken in a world built to distract and divide. Mastering your emotions doesn't make you invincible. It makes you unshakable. And in a time when everything is designed to steal your attention, your peace, and your power, emotional mastery is your ultimate rebellion, your ultimate weapon, your ultimate liberation. Discipline is the daily hammer that forges the mind into something extraordinary. No one stumbles into strength. No one drifts into greatness. It is earned through repetition, through structure, through consistency. Mental discipline is the commitment to show up for your mind every single day, especially when motivation is nowhere to be found. It's not glamorous. It's not loud. But it's powerful, and over time, it transforms you into someone even your past self wouldn't recognize. In a world addicted to quick fixes and instant results, daily mental discipline is a rare force. It starts with simple choices: what you feed your mind, what thoughts you allow to take root, how you speak to yourself when no one is listening. Every day, You are either strengthening your mind or weakening it. Every moment of laziness, every excuse, every time you choose comfort over growth, your mind notices, and so does your future. The strong mind is built the same way you train a muscle, by challenging it. You read not to be entertained, but to expand. You reflect not to waste time, but to understand your patterns. You write not to impress others, but to sharpen clarity. You speak affirmations not because they magically change reality, but because they rewire the internal narrative that shapes your actions. You visualize because your subconscious must see the destination before it helps you get there. Daily discipline means you don't wait for the perfect conditions. You build in the rain. You think deeply even when the world screams for your attention. You do the internal work when nobody applauds it. And when others are pulled in 100 directions by trends, temptations, or tiredness, you remain focused because you trained for it. That discipline becomes identity. It stops being something you do and becomes something you are. And here's what many don't understand. Mental discipline gives you freedom. The more you train your mind, the less you are controlled by impulse. The less you seek distraction, the less you fall into mental chaos. Your energy is no longer scattered across dozens of meaningless pursuits. It is directed, sharp, and deliberate. People start noticing it in how you carry yourself. You don't speak just to speak. You don't react just to react. There's thought behind your presence. There's power behind your silence. Discipline doesn't mean perfection. It means you return. Every time you slip, you come back stronger. Every missed day becomes fuel for the next. It means you hold yourself accountable, not out of shame, but out of deep respect for who you are becoming. No one can do this for you. No one can build your mind for you. You must sit with the boredom, the resistance, the temptation, and choose growth anyway. The terrifying mind is not chaotic. It is calm. It is structured. It is trained through daily commitment to mastery. While others scroll, you study. While others react, you reflect. While others wait, you act. And over time, this quiet consistency builds a mind that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, doesn't break. That is the kind of mind that changes everything it touches. That is the kind of mind that commands respect, even in silence. There is a power that lives inside every human being, but only a few ever unlock it fully. That power is belief, unshakable, immovable belief in oneself. Not the kind that wavers when things go wrong, not the kind that depends on applause or approval, but the kind that stands strong when the world is silent and the path is dark. This kind of belief isn't arrogance. It's not ego. It's a quiet certainty that says, I will become everything I was created to be, even when no one else sees it yet. Most people never reach their full potential because they doubt themselves more than they doubt their obstacles. They spend more time listening to fear than listening to faith. But the individual who builds unbreakable belief becomes something else entirely. When you truly believe in yourself, you stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for signs. You begin moving as if your success is already written, because deep inside you've accepted that it is. This belief is not born, it is built. It starts small. You keep promises to yourself, no matter how minor. You follow through on the things you said you would do, even when no one is watching. You build trust with yourself. And just like in any relationship, that trust grows into belief. You begin to see yourself as someone who shows up, someone who finishes, someone who doesn't quit just because it's hard or inconvenient. And the more you believe in yourself, the more others begin to feel it too. Confidence has a frequency. It doesn't need to be loud, it just needs to be real. You walk into a room differently when you know who you are. People notice the way you carry yourself, the way you speak with purpose, the way you no longer try to prove yourself. Because belief doesn't beg, it just is. But understand this, the world will test your belief. Life will throw setbacks, failures, rejection, and criticism at you. And it's in those moments that belief is either destroyed or deepened. If your belief is based on comfort, it will crumble. If it's based on truth, on knowing your worth, your potential, your purpose, it will only grow stronger under pressure. Iron sharpens iron, and pressure reveals strength. Unshakable belief makes you dangerous. not in a destructive way, but in a way that unsettles those who still doubt themselves. When people see someone who refuses to be shaken by fear, who keeps moving forward despite uncertainty, who speaks with conviction even after failure, they are reminded of what they could be if they stopped giving their power away. That's why belief is so powerful. It liberates you and challenges others to rise. This is not about pretending to be perfect. It's about knowing that no matter what happens, you will find a way. That even if you fall, you will rise. That no obstacle, no delay, no rejection is bigger than the vision you hold for yourself. That is the kind of belief that turns dreams into plans and plans into reality. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You don't need applause or validation. You need one thing, the decision that from this day forward, you will back yourself with everything you've got. And once you've made that decision, the world will begin to respond. Not all at once, but steadily as you become the living proof of what belief can build. The people you allow into your life are not just part of your story, they shape it. Whether you realize it or not, your environment is programming your mind every single day. Every conversation, every interaction, every shared moment either sharpens you or dulls you. That's why the strong-minded are ruthlessly selective about who they associate with, not out of arrogance, but out of wisdom. They understand that success is not just about what you do. It's about who you're surrounded by while you do it. Energy is contagious. Sit with complainers and you'll find yourself complaining. Sit with cowards and you'll start playing small. But sit with those who dream bigger, think deeper, move with purpose, and suddenly your vision expands. You're challenged, not coddled. You're inspired, not drained. This is not about judging people. It's about protecting your potential. You cannot build a mind of steel while feeding it the rust of negativity, laziness, or drama. Selective association doesn't mean you cut everyone off to live in isolation. It means you become intentional. You seek out those whose standards push yours higher. You find people who speak the language of growth, not gossip. People who talk about ideas, not just other people. People who hold themselves accountable and expect you to do the same. When you're surrounded by minds like that, excellence becomes normal, discipline becomes expected. Greatness stops being rare. It becomes the standard. It's not just about friends either. It's about every source of influence in your life. What content do you consume? Who do you follow online? What do you feed your mind when you're alone? Your mental diet determines your mental state. And just like you wouldn't fuel your body with junk and expect strength, you can't fuel your mind with toxicity and expect clarity, confidence, and power. And here's the truth most won't say out loud. Some people in your life don't want you to grow. They fear the version of you that rises because it reminds them of their own excuses. When you level up, you force them to look at themselves. And not everyone is ready for that reflection. So they'll joke, they'll criticize, they'll call you obsessed or unrealistic. But that's not your burden to carry. That's their limitation, not yours. Protecting your circle is not selfish, it's strategic. You're building something sacred, a mind so strong, so focused, so driven that it changes your entire reality. You can't afford to let it be polluted by weak conversations or shallow thinking. Every minute you spend with the wrong people is a minute you could have spent sharpening yourself with the right ones. Over time, you'll find that when you stop settling for average energy, something amazing happens. Your energy attracts better people, people who see your vision, people who bring ideas, solutions, ambition, people who don't pull you back but push you forward. That's when your circle becomes your power source, not your weight. That's when your environment becomes aligned with your destiny. You don't have to hate those you leave behind. You simply have to love your future more. And when you do, your associations will reflect that love, because your time, your energy, your attention will no longer be up for casual use. They will be invested only where they multiply. That is how you build not just a strong mind, but a powerful life. There is a force in this world more powerful than talent, more valuable than intelligence, and more rare than opportunity. That force is persistence, pure, immovable persistence. the kind that refuses to bend to failure, that laughs in the face of rejection, that keeps walking when every door is slammed shut. It's the quiet engine behind every extraordinary life, and it is feared by those who rely on shortcuts and luck, because persistence doesn't need luck. It creates its own way. Most people quit the moment things get hard. They hit one wall and turn around. But those who are persistent, truly persistent, treat walls as signals, not to stop but to dig deeper, climb higher, go around, or tear the obstacle down brick by brick. They don't ask, how long will it take? They ask, how far am I willing to go? That shift in mindset alone separates the few who rise from the many who fall. Immovable persistence doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to be limited by it. It's the ability to keep moving forward even when the results aren't immediate. The praise is non-existent, and the journey feels endless. It's what turns ordinary people into unstoppable forces. Because the truth is, most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they stop too soon. They give up one trial before the breakthrough, one moment before the tide turns. Persistence is built in the moments when no one is watching. When you wake up tired but still show up. When the world says no and you keep building. When everything in you wants to rest and you choose to push. That is where character is forged. That is where mental strength is chiseled into something the world cannot shake. And when others look at you, they might not understand it. They might wonder why you keep going. But deep down they feel it your resolve, your refusal to be broken. That terrifies people, because most have never seen someone who simply will not quit. And make no mistake, persistence is not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's repetition. It's discipline. It's sacrifice. It's falling down 10 times and getting up 11. It's showing up without applause, without recognition, without results, because your commitment is not tied to outcomes, but to purpose. You're not driven by what you see right now. You're driven by what you believe is coming, and that belief fuels action even in the silence. Immovable persistence is the ultimate declaration of faith in yourself. It says, I will become what I am meant to become, no matter how long it takes or how hard it gets. And that kind of mindset shifts the energy around you. Doors open, resources appear. People take notice, not because you demanded it, but because you earned it with grit, with consistency, with heart. In a world looking for shortcuts, persistence is the long road, but it is also the road that leads to greatness, not because it guarantees ease, but because it guarantees growth. And in the process of never giving up, you become the kind of person others look to for strength. You become the example. You become the evidence that it's possible. So when the doubt creeps in, when the progress slows, when the voices tell you to stop, remember this, persistence isn't about winning every day. It's about refusing to lose permanently. You keep moving one step, one breath, one battle at a time, until the goal is no longer a question. It's a reality. And that is how you build a mind that cannot be shaken. That is how you build a life that cannot be denied. If you want to build a mind so strong it terrifies people, understand this: it won't happen overnight, and it won't happen by accident. It will take clarity so sharp it cuts through confusion. It will demand emotional mastery that keeps you calm in the storm. It will require daily discipline so consistent it becomes your identity. You must believe in yourself with such intensity that doubt can no longer find a home in your thoughts. You must guard your circle, protect your energy, and surround yourself only with those who fuel your fire. And above all, you must move forward with an immovable persistence, a refusal to stop, no matter how many times you're tested, rejected, or misunderstood. The truth is, most people won't understand the path you're on. They may laugh, criticize, or distance themselves. Let them. Because you're not building your life for their approval. You're building it for your purpose. And when your mind becomes strong, unshakable, focused, driven, they will see. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but they will see. So rise. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Rise because deep down you know you were built for more. And every moment you choose strength over comfort, clarity over chaos, and persistence over quitting, You come closer to becoming exactly what you were meant to be, a force that cannot be ignored. That is the mind that terrifies people, not because it harms, but because it awakens. It reminds them of who they could be. And that, above all, is your power.